Greetings, fellow citizens. This is Citizenkong. I'm going to use my favorite prop, the brain. And this video's topic will deal with Bush's mind. I wanted to say Bush's brain, but that's really Karl Rove is Bush's brain, But Bush's mind. Of course, Bush's mind will be better served for the purpose of this video by using my other prop. Bush's mind. This is the Bush brain. Okay, the Bush brain. All right. It's very, very scary, okay? The stuff that is going on, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but if you're following the news, there's all this stuff about how Bush keeps seizing more and more power. That anybody that disagrees with what's going on, that protests against the war, could have their property seized. I mean, they've created all these loopholes, and and there is talk that we may not have another election because he's going to declare martial law, that there'll be a terrorist attack, probably with their doing. So I don't want to go too much into it because then I'll start sounding like a really lefty nut job. But I think what I'd like to share is some anecdotes. Okay, now this is stuff we could all research ourselves if you don't believe me. And hell, some of these quotes I'm not too sure about. They're just stuff that I've heard listening to the radio and through my reading. And as you know, Citizenkong is a pretty darn reliable source. And you know what? I'll give this disclaimer too. I don't swear by my information. Okay, because I don't know. It seems to have the ring of truth. It's a little bit truthiness, but I'm truthiness for the left. Ha ha. All right. So, George Bush, the brain of George Bush. There was a thing I heard on the radio that the reason why George Bush talks the way he does so slowly, he says, "Look, Americans, the war is hard. There are people in the Middle East." I don't do a great George Bush imitation, but it's that sort of deliberate, slow way of speaking. And you know the reason why he does that? Why he explains to the American people his policies in such a slow, deliberate fashion? It's because that's the way it was explained to him. Makes sense, doesn't it? There was some anecdotes about when he was a frat boy in school, and he would come around the dorms and knock on people's doors and try to get them to all join in a game of Risk. Now, I played this game once or twice when I was in junior high. I really, really dislike board games. I'm not a joiner. I don't play cards. I don't like playing board games, I'm just antisocial, I guess, that way. But I love having a good argument. Okay, anyway, this game Risk, and if you're not familiar with it, it's this game of world domination, okay? And one of the interesting things about this game, this guy was saying, is that you don't want to start out by being the Middle East, because that's one of the hardest places to win. So, you're better off being Europe or the United States or something. And Bush would get these other guys in his dorm to play Risk, and the game would go on for hours. And when he was losing, he would start stalling. And this also applied to other games like ping pong and things like that. He would be constantly asking for a do-over, or that wasn't fair, or let's do that again, or best 99 out of 100. Seems to make sense. The other strange thing about Bush is this feeling that he has of being directly connected to a higher power. And this is one of the things I just saw that clip of Jesus Camp, is that some of the other crazy Christian, and they're not Christians. These people are not Christians. To worship George Bush, that's idol worship. They're completely wrong. They should read their Bible. Anyways, these are probably the last 28% or last bottom 20% that still believe in Bush. But so this business, when they asked him about, have you talked to your father about the war in Iraq, and this was a couple years ago, or about foreign policy in the Middle East, he said, no, I talked to a higher father, or the debates a long time ago, his favorite philosopher was Jesus. It's scary, and I don't even know how this guy got in office. So, well, obviously he cheated. He wanted a do-over. Well, I guess that sounded like gore, but there's something going on with those votes, okay? There needed to be a do-over. And then this is another funny thing, and I should have took time to verify this. The other things I heard is like anecdotal stories and that seem to make sense. But somebody posted something that said that when George Bush was, asked about why is he violating the Constitution, he said the Constitution was just a piece of paper. He's sworn to uphold the Constitution. I can see why a lot of us are worried. This is Citizenkong. Try not to let this keep you up tonight, okay? All right. Cheers.